The internet has a new workplace slogan, and for once it doesn't sound like it came from an HR department. It's called Act Your Wage. It's a fun play on the old adage, act your age. Now, before someone in middle management starts hyperventilating, let's talk about what it actually means, because a lot of people have it confused with quiet quitting, laziness, or some kind of rebellion against work itself. It isn't any of those things. Act your wage is actually pretty simple. If your employer is paying you for one job, you do that job. You don't quietly absorb the responsibility of 2 or 3 other people because someone quit 6 months ago and management never bothered replacing them. You don't answer emails on vacation because you're the only one who knows the system. You don't become the unpaid team leader because someone noticed you were competent. You perform the job you were paid for. Imagine that. Now, the funny thing is, if you had said that 20 years ago, nobody would have even questioned it. Somewhere along the way, we were convinced that constantly doing more than we were hired for was somehow, proof of loyalty. Companies started calling it going above and beyond. Employees started calling it Tuesday. Now, I've been in IT for like 30 years. I've watched organizations eliminate positions, merge departments, freeze hiring, outsource entire teams, and then act surprised when the remaining employees started burning out. The workload never disappeared. It just got redistributed, usually onto people who never learned to say no. Now here's where people confuse act your wage with quiet quitting. Quiet quitting was presented as people doing the bare minimum because they didn't care anymore. That's not really accurate either, but that's kind of how it was marketed. Act your wage is different. You're not doing less than your job, you're doing exactly your job. There's a huge difference. If you're a systems administrator, you're not suddenly volunteering to become the cybersecurity architect because management doesn't want to hire one. If you're a help desk tech, you're probably not redesigning the company's cloud infrastructure over the weekend for, free. If they need those skills, they can pay for them. Some people hear that and immediately say, well, that's not how you get promoted. Well, maybe. But let's ask another question. Has doing all that extra work actually gotten people promoted? Or has it made them indispensable in the role they're already trapped in? Because I've seen both. I've also seen people become so valuable at what they're doing that management couldn't afford to move them. Congratulations, you worked yourself into a cage. That's the trap. The modern workplace has become very good at rewarding effort with more effort. Finish your project early? Here's another one. Become the expert on a new technology. Great! Now every emergency belongs to you. Answer emails after hours? Excellent! You've just taught everyone you're available 24/7. Employers aren't necessarily evil. They're just responding to incentives just like everyone else. If someone keeps volunteering for unpaid work, eventually that becomes the expectation. Not because anyone sat down and planned it that way, but because human beings normalize whatever keeps happening. That's why boundaries are so important. And this is where act your wage becomes incredibly powerful for anyone trying to escape the 9 to 5. Because escaping isn't just about making more money. It's about protecting something even more valuable. Your time. Most people trying to build a side business, like a YouTube channel, consulting practice, online income stream, have exactly the same complaint. I don't have enough time. Maybe that's true, but sometimes the bigger question is, who's using the time you do have? If you're staying late every evening answering Teams messages after dinner, or joining a quick meeting that somehow lasts an hour, volunteering for projects that don't increase your salary, then you're donating the exact resource you need to build your exit plan: time. Your employer is consuming tomorrow before tomorrow even gets here. That's the real cost. Let's do some simple math. Suppose you're giving your company an extra hour every workday. Doesn't sound like much, does it? 5 hours a week, about 20 hours a month. That's nearly 250 hours every year. That's more than 6 full work weeks. Let that sink in just for a second. Imagine what you could build with 6 extra weeks every year. A YouTube channel, a consulting business, you could write a book, build digital products, investing in yourself instead of somebody else's bottom line. The opportunity cost isn't just unpaid labor, it's delayed freedom for you. Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not suggesting you become difficult. Don't become the employee who says, "That's not my job," every 5 minutes. Nobody enjoys working with that person. I believe professionalism still matters. Do good work. Meet your commitments. Help your teammates when it makes sense. Just stop making permanent sacrifices for a temporary appreciation. Because appreciation doesn't pay the mortgage. Applause doesn't fund your retirement. Pizza parties don't quiet that screaming in your head telling you, "Get out!" Your exit strategy does. Here's something else I've noticed after decades in the IT industry. Companies rarely reward people for sacrificing their personal lives. They reward results. And even then, sometimes they don't. Budgets get cut. Management changes. Projects get canceled. Entire departments disappear. The loyalty you gave yesterday often isn't remembered when next year's spreadsheet gets reviewed. Now, that sounds cynical, I know. But it really is just business. It's nothing personal. Which means we should treat our careers exactly the same way. Professionally, logically, and without guilt. If your employer expects professional boundaries, then you're allowed to have them too. And here's the irony. Setting boundaries often earns you more respect than having none. People learn how to treat you based on what you consistently allow. If you're always available, you're expected to be available. If you're always rescuing every project, you're expected to rescue every project. But if you respectfully say, "I'm fully committed to my current responsibility," then something amazing happens. People figure it out. Maybe not immediately, maybe with a little bit of grumbling, but they figure it out. Meanwhile, something even better happens. You go home on time. You sit at your own computer instead of your employer's. You spend that reclaimed hour building something that actually belongs to you. That's the difference. Every video you publish belongs to you. Every digital product you create belongs to you. Every client you find belongs to you, and every investment you make, yes, you guessed it, belongs to you. You're slowly transferring your energy from building someone else's future to building your own. And that's what escaping the 9-to-5 is really about. Not quitting tomorrow. Not storming into your boss's office dramatically and throwing your badge across the desk, although that may seem like fun. Life isn't a movie. It's about slowly shifting where your effort goes. Your paycheck continues funding your life, but your free time starts funding your freedom. That's a completely different mindset. Act Your Wage isn't about becoming a worse employee. It's about becoming a smarter owner of your own time. The goal isn't to do less. The goal is to stop giving away the hours you'll eventually need to replace that paycheck. Because one day, if you stay consistent, something interesting happens. Your side income starts paying for a few bills. Then a few more. Then maybe it pays for your mortgage. Eventually, your employer stops being your only customer. And when that day comes, you don't leave because you're angry. You leave because you have options. That's the real freedom. Not escaping work, escaping the dependency. So if you've been feeling guilty about setting boundaries at work, well, don't. Do the job you're paid to do. Do it well, be professional, be reliable, but don't be a doormat anymore. Keep enough of yourself in reserve to build the life that you actually want. Because the company is doing whatever it needs to do to get to where it wants to go. The question is, are you doing the same for yourself? As always, this has been Over 40 with Duff. If you enjoyed today's video, please follow, like, share, do all the things, but subscribe. It really helps out the channel. So until next time, keep asking yourself, if not now, when?